Ever dreamed of turning your football fanaticism into, well, let's be honest, cold, hard cash?
Who hasn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're definitely not alone. That's why today we're doing a deep dive into the world of online football prediction services.
Specifically, the ones that make it sound like a sure thing. You know, easy money.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen the ads. Slick websites, flashy graphics, bold claims.
Yeah.
They really pull out all the stops.
It's a marketing masterclass, really.
Absolutely. So today, we're dissecting one of these sites in particular, and trust me, they got the whole package. But the big question is, are they legit?
That's what we're here to find out.
Exactly. We're going beyond the surface. We're diving deep into their website, their blog posts, all that expert analysis they keep talking about.
We even peeked behind the curtain at their API documentation, the stuff they don't usually show you.
Really? The API? That's hardcore. But hey, knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. And the more you understand how these services operate, the better equipped you are to spot the BS.
Precisely. We're giving you the tools to evaluate any prediction service, no matter what sport you're into. Because let's be real, when a site hits you with a headline like 74.4% win rate.
Yeah, it's tempting. Very tempting.
Oh yeah, it's like they're speaking directly to the gambler in all of us, right?
Right, that little voice that says, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the secret sauce.
So before we get lost in a daydream of quitting our day jobs and becoming professional punters.
Which, let's be honest, we've all thought about.
Okay, maybe just me. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's break down how this prediction machine claims to work.
Okay, sounds good.
They've got daily accumulator bets, an app for those on-the-go tips, even different subscription tiers.
Pretty standard stuff, really.
Right. But the way they're presenting it, this whole image of providing, quote-unquote, expert analysis.
Ah, yes, the expert analysis. That's where things start to get interesting.
So, from your perspective, is this all par for the course, or are you already picking up on some red flags?
Well, the features themselves aren't that unusual. It's like walking into a sports bar. You expect to see the big screens, maybe a betting pool going on, that kind of thing.
Right, the usual suspects.
Exactly. But it's the language they use to describe it all. The explosive predictions, the promises of turning like £1 into 16 pounds 65.
Get you.
Oh, they know exactly which buttons to push. They're playing to your emotions, not your logic.
It's like they're speaking directly to the heart of the diehard fan, you know?
Exactly. That gut feeling that this is my team, this is my year, and suddenly you're not thinking rationally anymore.
And that's when those risky bets start looking awfully appealing.
Exactly.
So how do we cut through all the noise and figure out what's really going on?
Well, we've got to go straight to the source.
Now, the numbers don't lie, right?
Well, they can be manipulated, but in this case, they're actually pretty revealing. This site actually publishes their weekly prediction results.
Oh, really? They're putting it all out there.
Yep. They even have an overall performance section, which, you know, sounds pretty confident.
Okay, so they're not shying away from the spotlight. But do those numbers live up to the hype? That's the big question. All right, let's get down to the numbers. I'll be honest, I'm more of a watch the game with a big plate of wings kind of guy.
Uh-huh, I hear you. But even I have to admit, the data can be pretty interesting.
So is this site the real deal? Are their predictions worth betting on?
Well, remember that 77.8% win rate they were bragging about?
Yeah, hard to forget a number like that.
Right. Sounds pretty impressive on the surface.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Their ROI for that same week tells a different story.
Hold on, ROI. Remind me again what that stands for.
Return on investment.
Right. But explain it to me like I'm 5 years old.
Okay, so imagine you buy a toy for $5 and then sell it to your friend for $10. You made a profit, right? That's a positive ROI.
Okay, got it. So what kind of toys is this site selling?
Well, in this case, their ROI was negative 0.4% for that week. So not a very good investment.
Wait, so even if they get a bunch of predictions right, you could still end up losing money.
Exactly. It's not just about how many times they're right. It's about how much money you're actually making.
So it's more about the quality of the predictions, not just the quantity.
Exactly. And when you look at their ROI across different leagues, it's all over the place, like wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. The difference between the Polish league and the Italian Serie B was massive.
Right. Almost 60 percentage points difference in ROI. If their methods were so foolproof, you'd think those numbers would be more stable.
Okay, so that definitely raises a red flag. But hold on. They also have a whole section on their site dedicated to different betting strategies, like the martingale system, arbitrage betting, all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
So is that legit? Or is it just a bunch of fancy jargon to make them sound smarter?
Well, those strategies are real. They're used by professional gamblers all the time.
Okay, so there's some substance there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way this site presents them is, well, let's just say it's a little misleading. They make it sound so simple, but in reality, those strategies are complex. They come with a lot of risks.
So it's like they're giving you the keys to a sports car without telling you how to drive stick.
Pretty much. They're not giving you the full picture. Which makes you wonder what their angle is, right?
For sure. Like, why gloss over the risks?
Exactly. It could be that they're using this so-called educational content as a way to build trust, make themselves seem more credible.
Interesting. So it's all part of the marketing strategy.
Could be. But there was something else I found on their site that really surprised me.
What's that?
They have an API.
An API? Come again?
An API. It stands for Application Programming Interface.
Okay. And what does that have to do with football predictions?
Well, an API basically lets developers connect to their systems. It suggests they're using algorithms, maybe even machine learning, to generate their predictions.
Wow, okay. So they've got a supercomputer somewhere crunching numbers, trying to predict the beautiful game.
It sounds impressive, right?
Yeah, it does. But can it be done? Can an algorithm really predict the outcome of a football match?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is, it's complicated. Algorithms can be powerful tools, but even the most sophisticated ones can't account for everything.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's still human beings out there on the pitch, not robots.
Exactly. And that's what makes football so unpredictable, so exciting.
Okay, so they've got fancy algorithms and impressive-sounding strategies, but how transparent are they being about all of this? I mean, if you're going to trust them with your money,
That's exactly the question.
it's like they're asking us to sign on the dotted line, but they won't show us the contract, right?
Exactly. And that's a major red flag in my book for a site that's built on, and let me get this right, data-driven predictions.
Right, their words.
Yeah, exactly. They're awfully quiet about how they actually do it.
So, no peeking behind the curtain then.
Nope. They don't explain their fancy algorithms, what makes their so-called experts so expert.
Right.
Nothing about how they handle bias in the data, which, let me tell you, can really throw things off.
Okay, so for someone at home thinking, hey, maybe I'll try a little Flutter on the next match,
Fran.
what's the bottom line? Can they trust this site or not?
Well, it's a mixed bag, to be honest. Could be useful, especially if you're just starting out, dipping your toes into the world of betting strategies.
A crash course.
Yeah, something like that. But don't go betting the farm just yet.
Okay, good advice.
Treat it like, a friendly kickabout, not the World Cup final.
Love the analogy.
Approach these predictions with a healthy dose of skepticism. Do your own research.
Right.
And never forget, anything can happen on match day.
Because no matter how good a prediction looks,
Exactly.
there's always a chance of a last-minute screamer to ruin the party.
It's the beauty of the game, isn't it? You can't predict those moments of brilliance, those last-minute goals.
Absolutely. Can you imagine trying to program an algorithm to predict, a Roberto Carlos free kick?
You'd need a supercomputer the size of a stadium for that.
No kidding. It's those unpredictable moments that make football what it is.
Couldn't agree more.
So listeners, by all means, check out these prediction sites, but take it all with a grain of salt. Do your homework, trust your gut, and never, ever bet more than you can afford to lose. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the often wild world of online football prediction services. Hopefully we've given you a few things to think about. Until next time, enjoy the beautiful game.